It did say 7. I changed it back to 6:45. I had changed it to 7 because I was on a Zoom call and I wasn't sure what time it was going to end. But once I got off the call, I got off the call like right at 6:30. So I was like, well, I'll just go ahead and try to keep it, I kicked it back. So it did say it's 7 originally for those of you who pay attention to that kind of stuff. Hey, Marla Morris, how are you? Lauren, Yana, Xavier, Dominique. Hey, Lock Queen. What's up, little baby? Hey, Brandon. What's up, boo? All right. So hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Friday to everyone. I've got a couple of announcements that I'm going to make, but I'm going to wait. Hey, P, how you doing, boo? I'll wait till a few more people get in here. I'll wait till we have at least 30, 40 people in the room before I make my announcements. Like I said, I got a couple of quick announcements to make. What's up, Danny? What up? I see you over there perfecting your skills. Hey, Verbe, what's up? I see you over there perfecting your skills. You're going to be ready for us soon enough. What's up, Big and Sexy VA? What's up? Oh, man, how was everybody's week? Oh, this week was a long week. I know it was a long week. I know why it was a long week. It was a long week because I'm coming off of a vacation and it was a short week. It always seems like when you have Mondays off, it just seems like the week, oh my gosh, it's so much worse. It's a mess. Anyway. Okay. What's up, China White? How you doing? Hit me with the thumbs up when you're ready.
I stay. Hey. I feel like hold on, I feel my booty is too big for my chair some days.
Okay, well. What up, Juana? Hi, boo. Girl, this week was hot, but it went by fast.
Really fast.
It didn't go by fast for me, child.
I think it went by fast because I didn't work on Monday because I was at the hospital all day.
Right.
And then Tanny got here, and so I don't know.
Yeah, you just been in heaven. You've been in bliss over there. So it don't mean the same. Long and stressful week plus this trial is wearing me down. Well, listen, Lauren, didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all at the beginning of this trial. I know it's hard sometimes. It's like rubbernecking. You shouldn't look at the accident, but you can't help but turn to the left or turn to the right anyway. But I'm telling you, we're going to talk a little bit about the trial. We ain't going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but we're going to talk a little bit about the trial, okay? Just a little bit about the trial today. You just your printer, the one you were talking about. Okay, all right. So we can, listen, once Danny is working on some things for us. And once Danny gets comfortable, we're gonna have some new stuff coming for y'all. Probably, maybe I give her a couple of months to get it together. Sometime during the summer. The baby is cute. Yeah, the baby's a cutie patootie. Hey, B-Lo.
Now, in regards to the trial, if it's too much for you, I'm going to suggest do what I do. There's this gentleman on TikTok. His name is QUE, and he'll give you like a bite-sized 60-second. Here's what happened. Breakdown. Yeah. He's very entertaining, and it's very non-stressful. Is what I'm going to say. So I get his little 60-second bites, and then I'm like, okay, I know what's happening, and then I go on about my day because I have PTSD, and as good as well as the trial is going currently for the prosecution, I absolutely have no faith in any of the jurisdiction process.
And well, let's go ahead and start there then, since we didn't already started talking about it. Let's talk about it. That's sort of where I am with the trial. I have not been watching 24/7. I have not been watching everything, but what I have been watching, what I have been, tapping into, it does look like the prosecution is putting on a good case. However, I don't have any faith. I just don't. And the defense hasn't put on their case yet. Everything looks good when it's a one-sided story. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we know that it's crazy. We know that there's really nothing that the defense can say that's going to justify what happened. But we also know that that's their job, is to get up there and make an argument. As absurd as it might sound, as crazy as it may sound, but we know that that's their job.
When the doctors got up there and said, but he asphyxiated though. We don't care what was in his system. The reason he no longer here is because he asphyxiated. It's not because it ain't because no drugs. It ain't because of no drugs.
Exactly. And that's really what it boils down to. I don't give a damn. I don't even care if he was high as a kite when it happened. That ain't what caused his death. What caused his death was that knee in his neck, which stopped the oxygen from flowing through his body. Okay?
When your boss get on the stand and say, I didn't teach him that. We don't teach that. We don't do that around here.
Not only did his boss say, we don't teach that, his boss also said, not only do we not teach that, but he should have stopped right there. Like they gave him the timestamp, like, and at that moment right there is when he should have got up. Not only did we not teach it, but if he was going to use it, that is when he should have stopped. Right there.
Exactly.
The timestamp right there in that second. So, yeah. So, for those who have not been following the trial, just to give you a short Cliff Notes version. What's up, Star? Hey, boo. Just to give you a short Cliff Notes version of the case. We have the people who a paramedic was there, and the paramedic testified that she told him to get up and tried to revive him. We see that the onlookers and the people who testified.
The MMA fighter man who was out there, and they was like, "Well, are you getting angry?" He's like, "No, I'm being professional." I said, "Oh,
right."
Come on, Black
we
King.
even see some of the blue wall is crumbling.
Absolutely.
Because it's very seldom, no matter how egregious the situation, it is very seldom that you see a police officer or officers testify against other police officers. And so we see that's been happening. And again, some of the things they've been saying is absolutely valid. They've been arguing the case to say, listen, this ain't what we taught. This is not illegal. This was not illegal. I don't want to say chokehold, but position. All of it's wrong. All of it's wrong. And I'm gonna tell you, I look at Real Sports. It comes on HBO. It's a show on HBO where they have like different human interest stories in the area of sports. It's hosted by Brian Gumbel, and it comes on like once every month.
Mm-hmm.
It's been coming on for years. They had a story maybe a couple of months ago. I don't know the exact. It's one of those things that's been sitting in my DVR, so I can't tell you the exact air date because it's like I looked at it maybe about a week or so ago. I looked at it, and they had a coach on there from Minnesota, from Minneapolis, the same city where George Floyd was killed. And not only is he a coach, but he's also a police officer, and he's Black. And so they were talking about how hard it's been for him to walk that line because, of course, he had to still be there for his students and deal with their anger, but also be a police officer and do his job and really walk that line. It was a really good story because his team, he took over, like they were like the worst team in the county, and of course he took them to the championship. And it was him, his father, who was also a police officer, another friend of his. He got them to be his coaches, but he also got a white cop to be one of his coaches. And so they talked about how that has been with him being, part of the team. And he even got into some trouble a few years ago where a situation went viral where the community felt like he should have handled the situation better than what he did. He was cleared of all charges, but of course it was a hard conversation that they had to have with the kids about, listen, this is your coach and you love him, but this is what the people are saying on the news. And anyway, I say all that to say, just to give you a little bit of background, but to say all that to say, thank you to Juana. They asked him about the cop I don't want to say the guy's name because I don't even want to give him that much attention over here. But y'all know
Child, did you see? Wait, did you see the TikTok? The white lady talk about y'all. People been having problems pronouncing this man's name.
Oh
It's
yeah,
French. It's murderer. Child,
right.
I had to lay on my face and talk to the Lord. I said, "Oh God." I
Yeah,
said, "Oh
it was hilarious.
Jesus." I said, "Well."
And what she said was, so you got me saying what she said. What he said was, they asked him about this particular guy, and the guy interviewing him said, "Did you know him?" He said, "Yeah, I know him." He said, "Well, how did you feel, with what you saw on that tape?" He said, "I wasn't surprised."
Mm.
He said he absolutely had a reputation and he was known. He stopped short of calling the man a racist, but basically, if you read between the lines, he let you know this is who he was, and it's not indicative of the whole police force. However, it is clearly who he was. And he said he just wasn't surprised. He said he wasn't surprised. And he was one of the cops that had to actually go out there during the riots and, be out there. So, he has since left the police force. But he's got a good job. But it also talked about some of the negative aspects of the backlash. We've been talking since last summer about the stuff we don't ask for. He was actually one of those resource officers that are in the schools. And as somebody who teaches in the school, I know exactly who he is. Oh, okay.
I'm so popular at this time of day. What the hell's going on? It's not even
okay. And after this happened, one of the reactions that happened after what happened to George Floyd was they took the police officers out of the schools. And he said, as a result, it didn't eliminate his job because they just reassigned him. But as a result, he actually was working in the school where he coached. So he could keep an eye on his athletes and he could make sure they were going to class
and stuff.
Make sure they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And if a teacher had a problem with one of his athletes, they knew that they could come to him and he would get them. And he said, so I lost that. And when again, I understand
some of it.
The knee reaction to the knee jerk reaction to some stuff. But what I really need for us to understand is we have got, when I say we, I'm saying all of us, we've got to figure out a way that we are teaching our kids that the police are not to be feared. I understand.
But it's very difficult when that stuff at this point, it's bred into our DNA. I truly believe it's that knee-jerk fight, flight reaction, immediate fear of the police is bred into our DNA because we have had such a long, horrible, distrustful history with the police. I know we all had officer friendly when we was in school. Well, I don't know if they still do officer friendly anymore, but we all had officer friendly. However, I too got to talk at maybe 10 or 12 when my parents would let me be outside until the streetlights came on how to conduct myself if I was approached by the police. It's always been a different set of rules. And although we want to foster, not all cops are the same. Unfortunately, as Black people, we can't operate in that sphere because it's always that one. And to protect our children, you always have, even if all of the cops are good, there's always the chance of that one. And I would rather protect my child again and teach them how to get back home alive than to put rose-colored glasses. Some cops are great. Some cops are great. But let me be very.
Let me finish my point though, because that's not what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, I went a whole left turn.
It's okay. But I just don't want people to think, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we give them a pass, and I'm not saying that we look, because I agree. But what I'm saying is, I would rather the resources and the money be put into figuring out how we get to a common ground, rather than say, oh, well, because we had this situation, we just gonna take all of the cops away, and we're going I really feel
Yeah,
like
this shouldn't be an absolute.
that's what I'm saying. We've got to figure, and I agree with you, Xavier. It is a two-way street. I'm not saying that the onus is on us. I'm not even saying that I am saying though that there has to be a two-way street. We've got to figure out the way that we do come together. And see, I disagree. It's the same argument when people say it's not our job to teach about racism. Well, then who's going to fix it? How do we fix it? It's real easy to keep saying, well, they created racism and they did this and they did that. That I'm not arguing none of that. But how do we fix it? I mean, I don't know how we come to a common ground if nobody's willing to sit at the table. That's all I'm saying. And so what I'm saying is, as somebody who I understand, I also feel as though we as a society have to figure it out, because if we don't, then we're going to continue
the cycle will continue.
Silos, right? We're going to continue moving in the silos that we are working in now. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Do I fear the police? Yeah, sure, I do. But I also know that there's a place for them in society. Without any form of law enforcement, we have total chaos. And I don't think anybody wants that.
Right. But at this point, our history is so bad with the police that they're not. Our first thought is, if something terrible happens to us, and the normal person would be like, oh my God, call the cops. They can come and help us. We take 30 to 45 seconds to be like, okay, now if I call the cops, is this going to make this situation worse? Like, I literally saw something on Instagram where this couple, they were sharing this chef space with this white man, and he had gotten agitated, and the wife was meeting with him. It was a husband and wife, and the wife was meeting with the white man, and the white man was talking real crazy, and the wife got uncomfortable, and she called the husband in, and the husband and him was sitting at the table, and the white man pulled a gun out on them. And the husband had to sit there and restrain this man with a gun in his hand, and had to talk his wife into calling the cops to come get him, and then she was like, she wouldn't let the cops in until she explained, my husband is the black man. Please do not kill my husband.
I get it. And that's what I'm saying. And so until we figure out a way to come to some sort of medium, that's not going to be fixed. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I just feel like if we keep saying it's not, take the police out of it, take racism and take all of that out of it. If we keep saying that's not my job, it's never going to fucking get done.
Well, no, I'm not saying that it's not my job. What I'm saying is, I don't know how to fix your implicit bias, and for you not to see the other side, not to see value in my life, in my child's life. I don't know how to get it across. If you do not see if they don't see the other side as equals and human beings who should be afforded the same inalienable rights that you have, that I don't know how we get to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how do we get to the point to where you see a child in a park and playing with a toy gun, and within 30 seconds, without even really knowing what's happening, you shoot them because you didn't see value in that.
Again, I think that goes back to the training. So first of all, that goes back to, for me, that goes back to how we are training our police. First of all, we got to get rid of the old guard that thinks that way.
Right. Some of them have to die out before it starts to get better.
There has to be a clear cleaning of house. And I'm okay with that. Okay. Then we have to look at, how are we training law enforcement? What are we training them to see and to look at? What are we training them to see and to look at? You understand what I'm saying? And so I agree with you 100%. Don't get me wrong. But I think, again, that goes back to, and this is why I get so upset when we become so overly sensitive. And when I say we, again, I'm not talking about me and you. I'm saying in general, we become, excuse me, so overly sensitive about everything because when we're not doing is having the hard conversations. We've got to sit at the table and we've got to stop. We've got to start. Hey, what's up? Hey Tabitha, how you doing, baby? We've got to start having the hard conversations. And what we can't do is we can't keep worrying about being politically correct because sometimes I just got to be able to say what I need to say and not worry about your reaction and you being sensitive to the language I'm using and hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that means we just let people call us out our name. What I'm saying is that we're sitting at the table and we're trying to hash some stuff out. You know what? Like
sometimes we have to take the onus and be like, yes, little Johnny is a hoodlum and his ass needed to go to jail. I get it. Like, we understand.
Like as a teacher, there have been times where I am sitting with students and they are straight up cussing each other out. Now, under normal circumstances, you can't cuss in front of me. That's not acceptable and that is not okay. But in a situation where the bigger picture is I need us to walk out of here on the same page and I need whatever this situation is to stop, then I need to know, well, what did you call her? And we can't sugarcoat it. Did you call her a bitch? I don't want you to sit here saying, well, I called her a bad word. No. What did you say?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And for the kids on the other side, okay, did you call her a nigga? Because that's the conversation we need to have. And so what I'm saying is we can't keep being so sensitive. Well, I said the N-word. No. You said nigga. Because I need you to understand. See, don't get polite now because now you're in front of me. Because what that tells me is you knew what you were doing when you did it. And so I'm not saying that we allow people to just use racial epithets and all of that. But I think we've gotten so sensitive to everything that we are not willing to have the hard conversations, and we've got to lean into the hard conversations because that, in my opinion, that is the only way that we're going to get to the bottom of some of this stuff is for us to be able to have the hard conversations. And no, it's not going to be pretty, and no, it ain't going to make us feel good, and no, we ain't going to come out of here singing kumbaya. But you know what I need to know, because that's the one thing, and a lot of us have been saying this, that is the one thing that I am thankful to Donald Trump for, because what you did was you pulled the rock up and all of the fucking roaches came out, because now I know how you really feel about me. Mm-hmm. People stop being polite and using pretty, flower.
They doing those microaggressions, and exactly. you hardcore. Exactly. Well, fuck you, nigga. Okay, well,
exactly. All right. Now, and that's what I need to know. These Trump supporters that have felt empowered to be honest about how they really felt. You know what? I needed to know that, because for some people that was their neighbor. For some people it was their boss. For some people, it was their coworker. Hell, for some people, it was their spouse. I needed to know that that's how you really felt.
Yeah, some
you see
people
what I'm saying? And so that's all I'm saying, y'all. I'm not saying that it is Black people's responsibility to take every white person's hand and skip down the street. That ain't what I'm saying. But what I am saying is there's no way that we're ever going to get to the bottom of the bullshit if we're not willing to jump in and scoop the shit out. That's all I'm saying. And so when we keep saying, it's not our problem, but it is. It is. That's all I'm saying. They literally came into our neighborhoods as if we were armed and dangerous because of our skin. It is embedded in pop culture. P, I agree with you 100%. But my problem is, now what are we going to do to fix it? Because as long as we keep saying it's just a part of their culture, it's just embedded in their culture, then we're not coming up with a solution. I accept the fact that that's what it is. But what I'm trying to do is find the solution. And if we keep saying it's not my job, and we keep kicking the can down the street, then at what point does it become, whose job is it? Yeah. I know everybody in here, boss made them read Who Moved My Cheese. Everybody boss made them read that shit. The problem is that this is generation after generation we have had to be amicable. I don't agree with that, but go ahead. I'm sorry, let me finish reading this statement before I say I don't agree with it. Amicable, sitting down and having the hard conversations, but the other side doesn't sit down with us in good faith. Well, I don't necessarily agree. I can think of examples of that being true, but I don't think that that's the case. But that's just me. But I also feel like, again, I feel like the only way then I tell you what, give me a different solution. How do we fix it? How do we change it? Because what we can't do is keep doing what we're doing. Because if
Right. I
we keep
think
doing what we're doing, then what's going to keep happening is
it's
black
going
men,
to.
black kids are going to continue to get murdered. So if we keep doing what we're doing, nothing gets fixed.
I agree with Xavier. First of all, they have to be held accountable when they do shit. It shouldn't be we have this whole Mount Vesuvius worth of evidence of you murdering one of us. And because you have a badge that negates everything, even though you are dead wrong. Like there has to our lives have to be just as valuable, just as if this fool had kneeled on the neck of Joe Bob in front of the Piggly Wiggly for 8 minutes and you would have been put underneath the jail, then I need the same type of energy when it comes to George Floyd, the same thing being done. Our lives need to have value in the system, and currently it does not. We are still only worth 3/4 of a person, if that much. When it comes to the value of our lives and like we trash, we disposable to them.
And I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. I agree 100%. I agree 100% that they need to be held accountable, and there has to be punishment, because again, just like a child, if I never get punished for doing something wrong, I'm never going to stop doing it. That's the punishment. There's a consequence for the behavior. I agree with that 100%. And I do think, and I don't have the proper language, so somebody put it in the chat for me, please. There's an actual word. There's an actual word that police officers have. And the actual word escapes me. So somebody please put it in the chat, because I know that y'all know what the word I'm looking for is, that they do have this protection. And I agree. That has to be, there has to be, but that is the stuff that when we start talking about reform. Hey, Jaded. Thank you for sharing my video, baby. But when we start talking about reform, those are the conversations. And like you said, P, you're right. The conversation has to go past the remedial level. And maybe that's sort of what El Teddy was saying, that it's that we're sitting down and they're not sitting down in good faith. Yeah, the conversation has to go past the surface. We've all done that, right? We've all been at the kumbaya, I call it the kumbaya table, where we're not really here to try to make any real change. We're just here to say we did it. We're just here to check it off the box. And
to get a participation trophy.
Exactly. And so maybe that's what you were saying, El Teddy, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. The indemnity. Thank you, Creative Diva. I knew somebody was going to know the word. That is exactly what I'm looking for. That is the word I'm looking for. And so that's what I'm talking about, y'all. I'm no longer interested in the fluff of it all. I'm no longer interested in the shit that looks pretty and just to say we did it. No. If we're not sitting down and we're not having the hard conversations and we're not coming up with hard solutions and putting some shit in place, then I'm not interested in participating in it. And on that, I agree 100%. And if that's what you're talking about, El Teddy, then yes, I agree with you 100%. I am not interested in that at all. For us to sit here and I'll even use the example of the police officer that I was just talking about, for them to ask him about the murderer, and for him to say, oh, well, I'm not surprised, then would I have to push back on him and say, well, what did you do about it? And again, I'm not saying one person alone, but what I'm saying is other cops holding cops accountable for the bad cops. So if all of y'all go together and say, excuse me, this man right here, not only is he a racist, but he is actively engaging in his racism on the job, and it is affecting minorities in this city. See, that's the conversation we need to have.
But the man had 26 complaints. He had 26 complaints that we don't know that none of those complaints came from his fellow officers. He's had 26 complaints in his career. So just because they know, maybe that's why he's like, yeah, I'm not surprised, because I have complained. I've put in a complaint, and you know what happened? Absolutely nothing.
Right. But here's what happens. And I'm not trying to put this on the level of a reality show. Okay. But I'm going to use this example because I think we can all understand. On reality TV, you only have a job as long as someone is willing to work with you. When everybody refuses to film with you, Andy Cohen has said it, I have no use for you.
Right.
If no one is willing to work with you. So what I'm saying is this: if not only do we complain, but we say, listen, I'm not working with this person. If nobody will ride with them and nobody will be their partner, then there's got to be, see,
Then
again,
they'll put him in a car by itself.
but that's the hard conversation. That's the hard conversation. You understand what I'm saying? Because just as quickly as the blue wall will solidify against the cop that they think is snitching, that's how far and that's how hard that y'all need to solidify when y'all think somebody's a racist. So just like, and y'all see it all the time when, oh, we're not gonna respond to a call from this particular cop because he's a snitch, he's a rat.
Right.
The same way that y'all are so, you understand what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff. Those are the hard conversations I'm talking about. So I hear what you're saying, El Teddy. I hear what you're saying, and I agree. You're absolutely correct, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. We need to sit down and have the hard conversations, and we need to hold these people accountable. That's all I'm saying. I ain't even mean to go left. I ain't mean to go there. I ain't mean to go there. Exactly. Somebody with 26 complaints, there's no reason in the world why he should still have his job. I'm sorry. Because, see, where there's smoke, there's fire. Even if all 26 are unfounded, you're not going to tell me that none of them were.
Right.
Everybody ain't lying
So
on
everybody lying on you, little boy? Everybody. Right. Everybody's lying. Everybody is lying but you. My mama told me if you the common denominator, it's you. If everybody has an issue with you, it is you. It's not everybody else.
You know, and so I agree. And so that's all, that's what I was saying, y'all. So I'm not saying I am no longer interested in the fluff. That is not what I'm talking about. But I am talking about, let's sit down and let's have the hard conversations. And yes, we've got to change the training. And yes, we've got to break the generational mindset that exists in most police forces. I agree with that 100%. When we aren't with law enforcement, it's kind of like the South African reconciliation discussions. They acted as if Black people fighting the apartheid government were on the same level. Yeah, I agree. Blacks with the rocks. But here's what, but P, to use that same example, what finally isn't the word I want to use. What was one of the things that made them stand up and take notice? It wasn't the fact that the Black students were fighting with rocks against guns. It was the fact that the Black students were fighting back. They were shocked that the Black students, it's kind of like, I hate to keep comparing such a serious topic to something else, but it was kind of like that scene in the movie of What's Love Got to Do with It. It was kind of like that scene at the end when I hit Tina and Tina fought back. And did I know that scene where she hit him?
She's like, is that all you got?
And he looked at her like she had lost her mind. Now, at the end of the day, she still got her ass whooped. We saw her get out that car with the bloody nose and limping across the street and shit. She got her ass whooped. But he was shocked as hell that she had the audacity to finally fight back. So what I'm saying is, I agree with what you're saying, P. No, those Black students were never going to win against the apartheid government with guns, but they were shocked that the students had the audacity to fight back. I mean, it was the same thing in the civil rights movement. At the end of the day, we really only had our voices and our actions, but we were ultimately successful. Because part of it was a lot of these, like the Bill Connors of the world, were like, how dare they? And y'all seen it. We were good to our Blacks. How dare they want more? We treated them good. How dare they want more? So it's not even always so much that you are in a fair fight. Sometimes it's the fact that you're fighting. It's okay, P. You good. You great. You always great over here, girl. I know what you saying, girl. All right, y'all. That's a good conversation. Maybe we can, we always like to have these. I like having these hard conversations personally, and I like when y'all challenge me. Y'all, I don't want y'all to always agree with me, because the reality is I learn from you, and hopefully you learn from me, and we can have the conversation. Because even in this environment where we're all, the majority of us are Black. I can't say everybody here is Black, but the majority of us are Black. That doesn't mean that we all feel the same way. We all have the same. We have the same opinion. So I want y'all to hear what I'm saying, just like I want you to hear me, and we ain't always got to agree. El Teddy, are you at work right now? Are you just dipping your head in?
You are correct, Lauren. Honest cops do need to be protected when they come out.
Agreed. And that's another thing we have to look at too, is how are we, so for the ones that do fight back, the ones that do the right thing, what protections do they have in place? That's a good, that's kind of like that whistleblower thing. Like, how are we protecting the whistleblowers? That's a good point. Thank you, Lil Baby. We're going to, because you about to walk into the door at home. Well, I don't want you, we're not talking about this no more. I do want to get your opinion on something else that we're going to talk about. So if you want to come on after you get yourself settled, let me know. We done with this. We done with this conversation. But there is something else I want your opinion on.
Because this will make you want to fight the air.
Right. And, you know, this could be a whole, you know, especially I bring El Teddy up here, child. That could be a whole segment by itself. We ain't doing that today. But yes, thank you, Lil Baby. Put it on the minutes. We're gonna table this discussion because you know this is a never ending
conversation.
Yeah, this conversation.
Unfortunately, it's a never ending conversation.
Right. All right. Now, on the rolling agenda, I have Prince news because we got a couple of Prince stories. See how I did that? See how I doubled up on you? We got a couple of Prince stories. So first of all, this morning I woke up to the news that Prince Philip died. He was
the only Prince I recognize is Rogers Nelson.
Wait a minute. He was 562.
Oh, God bless him. Okay.
And he had passed it away.
He gone. He looked like he'd been dead a long time.
He is gone. I'm just gonna read y'all a little bit of this because we ain't giving it too much. Prince Philip, I'm only bringing it up for one thing. We're gonna get to that in a second. But Prince Philip will be laid to rest in a funeral ceremony. Lord, I said cemetery. Ceremony modified due to the corona epidemic and social distancing guidelines issued by the UK. Service for Prince Philip will take place at the St. George Chapel at Windsor Castle. Date and time and additional details have not been announced by the royal family.
Is Piers Morgan going?
Huh?
I'm sorry. Because he be up there asshole. I was like, is Piers Morgan going to be at the funeral?
Probably. The question is, Harry and Meg. Well, we know Meghan ain't going. The question
no, because Meghan liked Prince Philip, though.
Meghan ain't going. Well, first of all, she's pregnant, so she probably
right. She might not be able to travel.
Yeah, she shouldn't be traveling. The royal family has asked the public not to gather in crowds to mourn Philip, and specifically not at royal residences like Windsor Castle or Buckingham Palace, according to a statement. Philip passed away at Windsor Castle. Queen Elizabeth remains in residence at the castle, according to Buckingham Palace. Royal family has also asked the public to consider making charitable donation instead of leaving floral tributes. So listen, the only reason why I really bring this up, because I really don't care that much, and it's no disrespect.
We don't know that nigga.
I don't know him. The question is Harry gonna get an invitation to the funeral? That's all I want to know. Is Harry and Meghan invited to the funeral?
Probably.
For purposes of saving face, they probably be invited to the funeral. For the purposes of saving face, they are going to probably be invited to the funeral. Had they not done that Oprah interview, I wonder if they would get an invitation. But they probably going to get one now.
Just to prove that they aren't racist.
Just to prove that they not racist. Yeah. So that's the only reason why I brought that up, was to see if y'all think that they're gonna get an invitation to the funeral. Oh, it kills you the way I say funeral. Listen.
No, Xavier, donations to charitable organizations, not to them. Jesus Christ.
Xavier, they're not Xavier.
They're not asking for
money.
They're
not begging. They're saying, in lieu of leaving a bunch of shit outside of the palace, donate money to a charity is what they're saying. They're not asking for money for them. They're asking people to donate to the... Xavier, why are you always so mean? Oh Lord. Well, China said she didn't even know that the Queen was married until the show. And that, listen, I knew she was married, but I didn't know his name. I couldn't have told you that man's name. You could have gave me a multiple choice exam, and I probably would have got it wrong. You could have said Philip, Tony, Reginald, and Tyrone, and I still wouldn't know. I wouldn't have known. You still sending some elephant ears? I'm not doing this with you.
Okay.
But Harry already gave himself an out because Harry already said that he didn't know he was going to try to make it. So I feel like he's already given himself an out just in case the invitation don't come and things don't go. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he gave the best answer. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to make it. Yes, they were third cousins. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know.
That's how they do over there. So we're not surprised.
Franklin Roosevelt was married to his cousin. Eleanor's last name was Roosevelt before they got married. She didn't even have to change her last name. They was cousins, okay? We do the shit over here too.
Like, what's the white man who was the rock and roll man that married his cousin?
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a little bit different. Not only did he marry his cousin, she was 14. That's a little bit of a problem. The
child molestery of it all.
Thumbs up. Okay. Now the other Prince news. That's right, little baby. Support me with a charitable fund donation over to the Avon. Matter of fact, this would be a good time to take a station identification break since we done brought up a guest on.
Not a station.
Not no damn guest. I don't know why I just said that. Ain't nothing about him a guest over here.
Greetings and salutations. Have you recovered from Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Because I have not.
Okay, we're not doing that. No. You going live to talk about it over there. We're not doing that over here. We're not doing it.
I just asked him if he was recovered.
Because he about to go. I see her. Listen, you see the volcano. He about to look.
I didn't even open my mouth yet.
He didn't say nothing.
I literally just took off a shirt and tie that I had on at work and a blazer.
Danny, yeah. I ought to fight you. Why you ain't watched it yet? It's about almost 10, 12 hours since that episode done came. What you doing with your life?
Oh, not what you doing with your life, though.
Danny, right, you gonna be real bad you ain't see it yet.
Okay. Girl. Okay. Hello. I have a couple of announcements to make. The first announcement I need to make, if you are in the DC area, I'm asking for your support tomorrow. My cousin is having a pop-up shop for her business tomorrow. She does waist beads and natural products. And there's going to be a pop-up shop tomorrow from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock at Old Washington Road in Waldorf, Maryland, Suite 12394, Unit 101. So if you are in the DC area, you're going to be down into the Waldorf area tomorrow, you might run into me because I'm going to go down there sometime between 1 and 5 to go support my cuz. And as you can see, there'll be other vendors there as well. We got a Pure Romance vendor and a few little odds and ends there as well. You see the flyer. So it's on my Instagram if you need the information. This is also posted on my Instagram. But again, if you out tomorrow, please come through and like I said, you can support my cuz and all that good stuff. So I wanted to put that up there. If you're in the DC area, down to the Maryland area, I had to put my DC accent on it. Y'all come through. Also, here's our Avon deal of the day. It is still 4% cash back on Rakuten. If you use Rakuten, you still have 4% cash back. But we always talk about the Skin So Soft and how it's good for the bugs and the mosquitoes. But I bet you did not know that Avon has specifically made bug guard and repellent with Skin So Soft. So there's a whole line. All right, you got the spray bottle, you have the aerosol can, you have light, you got heavy, you got the pump, you have you also have the sunscreen, And you even have the kids edition. You got sunscreen here. It's SPF 30. You have the lights, so if it's too heavy for you, you got the towelettes. You could just keep them in your bag and just, if you're gonna be out, you don't realize you was gonna be out with the bugs. You just keep some in your purse, honey, and you can rub them on your arms and your legs. You got a little bit of everything here. You got the kids, so that it's light for the kids, and it's waterproof. The ones you have some that's waterproof. I actually use this in the summer. Because I put SPF the highest I can find. I wear that in the summer, and so I do actually use this when I know I'm going to specifically be out in the sun, and it is waterproof. So like when I'm getting in and out of the pool and stuff like that. So as you can see, y'all go ahead. If you go to the Avon website and you just type "Skin So Soft" in the search engine, all of this pops up. All of the Skin So Soft items pop up. So I told you we're gonna start doing our deals for the day. So that is a deal of the day. Y'all please go check it out. P said she liked it. She has Skin So Soft, been using it for ages. You would like a less fragrant version. Yes, they have the light version. And then again, like I said, they have the SPF version. All right. That is our station identification break. All right, we back. Okay. What you eating? They want to know what your snacks. What you eating, boy?
I do this little thing.
Jake, Teddy with a closed mouth. Lord have mercy. Never thought you'd see
this little thing where I make like a little.
If you get ready to make one of them goddamn cookies with the
I'm
ice
not.
in the middle.
Oh, I saw one at Publix and child, but I decided against it. But I go through these phases where I make like these little snack hors d'oeuvre things. So I saw that they had a new boar's head garlic ham.
Oh, sounds good.
And so they said it got a little kick to it too.
With boar's head and garlic. Yeah, I'm sure it does. El Teddy P said you done took off your blazer, tie, suspenders, suit, vest, fedora, etc. Yeah, he just did the whole Superman at the door.
You know me, I'm a man of business attire.
Come on, a man of distinction. I'm a classic man.
That's my song. You can I'm a classic man. Okay, so let's get back to this. So in other Prince news, y'all didn't know.
Does he have an album coming out?
Huh?
Don't he have an album coming out?
That's what we're talking about. Now, y'all did not know me when Prince died. I don't think I wasn't even doing YouTube then. So y'all didn't know me when Prince died. But as soon as Prince died and we found out that he did not leave a will, I knew that this was going to happen. Because those of us who know that Prince got 5,672 albums in a vault of music that he never released. And he never really wanted it released. Prince was a perfectionist, and it took a lot for him to feel comfortable. Hey, Jason, putting out new music. I'm surprised it took as long as it took, but
we found
out that Prince's estate is releasing a new album. It is called, and I actually saw it last night because I follow the YouTube page. It is called.
It's called "We Want All the Money We Can Get from Him, Even Though He Dead." So we putting out new music.
Okay,
that's what it's called.
Oh,
what?
It's called "Welcome to America." Is what it's called.
Okay, show us on the doll, Abby. Show us on the doll.
Okay.
Please show us.
All right. This documents Prince's concerns, hopes, and visions for a shifting society. Foreshadowing an era of political division, disinformation, and a renewed fight for racial justice. The estate revealed that there will be a 12-track album, and it was recorded in 2010. When did Prince die? It's been about 5 years since he's been dead, though. But still, 2010. Anyway, I feel like this. I feel like Prince didn't want this. I don't feel like this is something he would have wanted. If he wanted that music out and it's been in the vault since 2010, then his ass would have released it. He died in 2016, so he had a whole 6 years if he wanted to tell us his vision for the world. Again, we know that that's what Prince would do. Prince did music all the time.
He told us when he did Sign of the Times. Thanks, we don't need. Okay.
Okay. I was upset that I found out he didn't have a will. I can't believe Prince didn't have a will. Like these people, it just never ceases to amaze me. Like it just surprised me that he did not have a will. You think Jay said some of his music? I could see that. I could see that.
The man was too busy writing music. He got time. I got the type of time. I'm in the studio if you need me. Find me there. That was his way of life. Find me in the studio if you need me. He ain't got the type of time.
Xavier, I think if he had a will, because here's the thing. I believe if he had a will, it would have popped up by now. I felt like that in the beginning. In the beginning, I felt like Prince got a will. We just ain't found it yet. But by now, I feel like it would have come up by now. I mean, even if there was an old version of the will, if there was an old version of his will, that would have stood. Even if it was leaving everything to his ex-wife because the will was from when he was married. If there was no newer version and that version had been properly, filed, that would have stood. The fact that there was no version of a will ever shocks the hell out of me.
The man was in the studio. Y'all, if y'all need me, come find me there.
I understand that, but you can't tell me this prolific of a businessman didn't have any type of contingency plan for his music and his stuff. He was so about the fight that he went through about owning his music and getting the ownership back and things of that nature says to me that it just says that he would have made provisions for after he was gone, unless he just didn't give a damn after he was gone. Y'all do what y'all want. I ain't gonna be here, so I don't care.
And the fact that he didn't fuck with his family. Like, it'd be different if he was cool with his family. He didn't fuck with his family. You know they gonna get everything.
But my thing is, I could see him making provisions for that vault. Now, that's what I was surprised that he had no provisions for. Because Prince, listen, find me in the studio. That's what I'll be doing. If you need me.
And again, you have lawyers, and that's their job, is to say, sir, if you don't sit your ass down so we can write this will out and you can go on back to the studio, I need 20 minutes of your time. Who is it that you want in charge of your shit? That's it. That's all. Like, I mean, I hear what you're saying, El Teddy, but it just, oh God, I was just shocked.
Maybe he was just concerned about it while he was on this earthly plane, and anything, when he closed his eyes on this side, he was going to open them on the other side. And at that point, he didn't give a damn what happened on this side. Do whatever, fight over it. I don't care. Listen.
And that might be what it was. He might have felt like Xavier said, to the victor goes the spoil. Shit, whatever's left when
may the odds be ever in your motherfucking favor.
Right, may the odds be in your favor. Like, y'all can do what y'all want to do when I'm gone. Okay, do what you want. But for somebody, like you said, Abby, for somebody who was so protective of his art, for him to not put any provisions in place for his art, I just, But anyway, so that's what's going on with.
But let's be clear. I have a seating chart already laid out for my funeral.
Oh, God.
And most of the family won't even be on the first two rows. I got about maybe 4 or 5 people in my family on the first 2 rows. There will be a seating chart. Because I don't need no people up at my funeral crying and boo, because my family real dramatic. Y'all think I'm dramatic? Oh, I am nothing compared to those people. I don't need y'all.
Because you said that you have a seating chart. Let me tell you what's going to happen at my funeral. I don't know, because I don't give a damn, because I won't be there. Do whatever. Be whatever. If the girl want to twerk next to my casket before they put my casket in the ground like that child tried to do at her ex-baby boo thing's funeral, let her have it. You know why? Because I will be in heaven rejoicing with my baby. Y'all do whatever y'all want. I don't give a damn what y'all do. Y'all flip over fucking backwards if you want to. Have it. Child God, I don't even care. Listen, just don't. Please cremate me. Don't put my body in the ground. That's all I ask. That's my only request. Anything above and beyond that, y'all try to do whatever. Do whatever, have whatever. I do not care. As long as the fried chicken and the potato salad is good, then I don't. At the repast, I don't.
I don't want them telling people not to cry at my funeral. Oh, he wouldn't want you to cry. Yes, he would.
Fall out of the casket. You fall out. I
want you to fall out. I want you to do all kind. I want somersaults and backflips, because they're gonna be like, "Nah, he was real dramatic. He would have wanted us."
I don't care what you do.
He would have wanted all of that. All of them.
Danny said, "Just don't put a bra on me."
You know what?
You know they do bury people in a bra.
They get them fully dressed.
Yeah.
They
Even
get
with
them fully dressed.
even with underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, because they asked. Oh God, this is so morbid. They asked me because we were potty training him, and so instead of putting him in the diaper, they asked if we had like underpants to put him in instead of. I guess I don't know, maybe because it's a decomposition situation. I don't know why, but they asked for big boy underwear, so we had to go out and buy some.
Oh Lord.
And then we bought him an outfit and some shoes, and they gave us the shoes back. They was like, and my mother still has those shoes sitting in her office right now.
Also, unless you get costume jewelry, they'll give you the jewelry back.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll give you that back. Yeah. All right. Well, so that's what that was. That was the Prince information. Now,
legally declared broke. Best Funeral Ever is the most ridiculous and hilarious show I have ever seen in my entire life. They made somebody's casket into a barbecue smoker, because the man was a big. And then they had the man from Chili's come and sing, "Give me my baby back, baby back." That man's funeral.
I'm mad.
Baby, when they put the person on the Ferris with the dead body on the Ferris wheel and had the child, it was a lot. It was a lot. They put the person on the Ferris wheel because they used to love going to the state. Child.
Yeah, listen.
Don't do all that.
And sprinkle my ashes somewhere where there's clear water. That's it. That's all. That's all I ask. I don't give a fuck who they are. Just put my ashes where there's clear water, since that is my favorite place to be. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's it. That is all. Moving on. Moving on.
Child, they had professional mourners on that show that they would pay to come to the funeral and fall out and act the fool.
Listen, ain't no clear water in DC, so you could not your ashes sprinkled nowhere in the greater
Jason, ain't no helicopter dicking at helicopter okay, I'm done. Not no helicopter.
I got a good helicopter. I'm not doing this with Jason. I'm not.
Oh God.
Moving on.
My light should be pink today because I have a pink t-shirt on.
Y'all know Jason's silly.
So moving on. So Nike has reached a settlement. They have to recall all of them Lil Nas X shoes. Okay, Nike said that is not.
That's not what they're doing.
Nike
said
gonna
get your shoes back.
Well, that's the question. I don't understand. So my question is this, and is DC here? Because I need my legal correspondence right here. The shoes sold out in less than a minute. There was a limited edition, and the shoes sold out. If those shoes have already shipped and been sent to the people who purchased them, they're not obligated to send those shoes back, are they?
I don't know.
I really need a legal opinion on that. The company who partnered with Lil Nas X to create his Satan shoes will now have to issue a voluntary recall of the sneakers as part of its settlement with Nike. Ain't nobody sending them sneakers back. Who the fuck is sending them sneakers back?
They're on eBay right now for how many thousand?
Right. On sale, they started off at like $1,000. Well, they started off at like $1,000. I'm sure that by the time they got done, if I had a pair of those, which I would have bought, but if I had a pair of those damn sneakers, listen, I promise you, I wouldn't be sending them back.
I'd have been resold them suckers.
You know how much them sneakers are worth now?
You know how many websites there are for sneakers heads to buy, shit, all people, rare finds and stuff like that. I know they are all over those websites selling them shoes for no less than $5,000. No less than.
And why would you even want them?
They collect. You gotta wear. You ain't gotta wear.
They were originally priced at $1,018, and there were only 666 pairs even made. Can you imagine what those look like now? Right, exactly.
No, there was 600. I thought it was 666 pairs.
That's what I just
Mm-hmm.
said.
Oh, I thought you said 100 something. I'm sorry.
No, they were 1,000. The asking price was $1,018, but because there was so much controversy about them, they were when they finally sold, none of them sold for no $1,000. They all sold for 3, 4. Jason said 6,000. That they were up to $6,000. So if they sold for $6,000 and now they have to be recalled, can you imagine what them sneakers are gonna be worth in about 5 years?
Listen, here's what I know.
Listen,
Nike said, "Not on my watch, motherfucker. Not with
Nike
our
don't have to say.
shoes."
Nike can say all they want. It already happened on their watch. I mean, let's be clear. What can they do? They should have just let that go.
but I don't
Nike
think
might
they can
go
get
ahead.
Dewana. It says it's a voluntary recall, so I don't think they can get sued. If they're saying for you to
They've already been
voluntarily send
sued.
them
That's
back,
the whole point.
right? They can't make you send them back. So if you want to resell them, that's yours. You don't. There's no legal. At least that's the way.
Nike can only do something to that company.
Right.
That took their original shoe and changed it. They can own.
Nike would have had to do.
But no. Now, really, if you look, I read this 2 days ago. Nike ended up settling with that company. They had some type of settlement that they did where they asked the people to voluntarily. But the thing about it was, what I read was the company's lawyers' pushback was, you allow companies to do this all the time. This is not something new.
Right.
Nike allowed, and so their point was, why are you picking on us?
Because you brought the devil and it started adding your DNA to the shoe. I think that's what it is. I think it's the Satanism and all that other stuff. That's what was the line for them. And it's their shoe and it's their product.
The only reason why they did it is because there was backlash.
Exactly. And what I'm saying is, you can't make a new precedent because you just got mad at my design when you tell people that I can design the shoe. You don't say, oh, you can design the shoe only if it fits in these, particular parameters of design.
Right. Because the thing is this, when it all first came out, Nike's original statement was, that ain't got nothing to do with us. They just bought the shoe from us and it's their design and they've done this in the past. It wasn't until they started getting so much backlash, probably from their shareholders, that they did something. And what Nike would have had to have done was to get an injunction before those shoes were actually sold. Because once those shoes were sold, you can't, I don't, again, that's why it's a voluntary
for show. It was for show.
Absolutely.
It was so that Nike could say, oh, we tried, we did what we could. Please, let's be clear.
Right.
And I'm sure if I'm a betting man, Nike was fully aware of what was happening before it hit the streets. If I'm a betting man, I put money on that. They probably knew.
I don't think they knew. I think they knew that there was going to be a design. I don't think they knew that it was going to be that. Because people do it all the time. People buy blocks and blocks of shoes.
Wait a minute. Just like Nike claimed they didn't know about their CEO's son selling shoes and stuff like that.
That was not the CEO.
It wasn't the CEO's son. It was one of the regional vice presidents.
I'm sorry, regional vice president. I'm sorry, not the CEO. I'm sorry. One of the higher ups.
Well, I don't know. This is a bunch of rich white people problems ain't got shit to do with me.
Let's be clear. This same company made shoes and they had holy water in the shoes. So my thing is, nobody had a problem when it was holy water. Now you got a problem because it's the devil. Like,
yes. Are you surprised?
No, it's not that I'm surprised, but what I'm saying is I feel like that's where Nike was coming from, was like, I mean, this same company did the same thing. They just did it with holy water. I mean, again, Nike didn't care until they got the backlash. They still didn't care after they found out what the design was. It wasn't that they didn't know. They didn't care. This
is them taking Uncle Ben off of the box. Like, we didn't ask for this. It's unnecessary.
Right, because my thing is,
it's performative and okay, great. Moving on. Like, it's not gonna stop people from buying blocks of your shoes and customizing them and doing whatever and reselling them and all that stuff.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. So anyway, I just thought I'd let y'all, I'm just giving y'all the update to the story. Now, El Teddy, this is what I brought you up here for. Let me get through all of this first, and then because I want your opinion. Hold on, let me make sure. Huh?
I
Y'all
said
see how
it's
she
your turn.
already shut me up before I even say. I ain't even said a word. Let me get through it all.
I didn't shut you up. I was just saying, let me get through it all. That's it. That's all. I didn't shut you up.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. I love you. Love you. Girl, I'm over here eating.
You always eating. Moving on. All right. Now listen to this, y'all. President Biden to sign executive order creating the Presidential Commission on the Supreme Court of the United States. Now let me read y'all this, and then we're going to talk about it for a few minutes. President Biden will today issue an executive order forming the Presidential Commission on the Supreme Court, comprised of a bipartisan group of experts on the court and the court reform debate. In addition to legal and other scholars, the commissioners include former federal judges, practitioners who have appeared before the court, as well as advocates for the reform of democratic institutions and the administration of justice. I'm going to just skip down. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm going to skip down a little bit. The commission's purpose is to provide an analysis of the principal arguments in the contemporary public debate for and against Supreme Court reform, including an appraisal of the merits and legality of particular reform proposals. To ensure that the commission's report is comprehensive and informed by a diverse spectrum of views, it will hold public meetings to hear the views of other experts and groups and interested individuals with varied perspectives on those issues. And I'm going to leave it there. Now, the reason why I said I'm going to bring El Teddy up is because this is something we sort of talked about during the campaign. In my opinion, and I want to know if you agree with me, El Teddy. In my opinion, I feel like this is step one in him packing the court. What do you think?
Is it my turn now? No, I'm joking. Oh,
Okay, because I was.
I had to make sure.
Well, I just asked your question, so yes, it's your turn.
Okay. Absolutely. That is what this is. However, let's be very clear.
Oh, here we go.
Y'all can't even get together to stop the goddamn filibuster. Do you hear me? The Dems can't even get together. So you mean to tell me that Republican senator, pseudo Democratic senator out of the great state of West Virginia, you think he's going to sign off for you packing the court?
Well, I'm not saying.
I hear what you're saying, really, B.
Yeah, I just saying I saw that. I feel like I said this is all preliminary for him to get.
Oh yeah, this is certainly preliminary. This is the setup. Now, I what I hope is I want to, because I already saw this, and what my research has been doing is seeing the exact names on the list of people on this commission, only because it's going to tell me something. If it's all Democrats on this, it's going to tell me something, or if it's bipartisan. And even though it's not really going to be bipartisan, it's going to be Republicans that lean toward the center. You know what I'm saying? But it will have the guise of being bipartisan. That will tell me a lot. I feel like Biden is going to try to make it under the guise of being bipartisan, which to me is going to cut their legs off from underneath them, because the Republicans know exactly all of the loopholes. They know where all of the the skeletons are buried, and they know how to play politics. And so if you're going to play this game of stacking the court, do it. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Don't try to make it like, because if it was Mitch McConnell and his people, they wouldn't give a damn how the Democrats feel. They wouldn't have had nobody even, they wouldn't even have a centrist Republican. They'd have everybody hanging off the right wing. And so my point is, if you're going to do this, Joe Biden, do it full out. Go balls to the wall and do it. Don't play around with it, because if you go in there trying to play politics, they're going to bust you. The Republicans are way better at playing politics than the Dems are. And so I agree with you, really, B. It is him doing that. Here's what my wonder is. How serious is he about it, though? Because is this just him trying to appease the progressives and said, well, at least I tried? Or is this you truly trying to have some reform in the Supreme Court? Um and that's where some Dems have a problem because Joe Biden hasn't fully embraced getting rid of the filibuster. He's come a long way. He's inching there. He said maybe it's time to consider, but when he ran, he by no stretch of the imagination was on board with that. And so I wonder if this is just him trying to appease the progressives and say, hey, I tried, but y'all know this ain't gonna work out. And then you're gonna dangle Joe Manchin as the person that you're gonna try and rest all of the blame on. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I really want y'all to legit for 45 seconds. When he said Joe Manchin, I was thinking, what does the Tiger King got to do with it? I'm sorry. Okay. Bless my mind. Jesus fix it. I don't know. That was Carol Baskin.
Not Joe Exotic.
Right? I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's when I saw that. That's the first thing it popped in my head. I said, okay. And I'm with you, El Teddy. The question is this a legitimate thing, or is he just going through the motions to pacify? And that's a good question too. That's a valid question. That's a very valid question. So
because you know how that go. And now is the time, because let's be clear, I by no stretch of the imagination think that after 2022, they're going to have the majority in the Senate. There's no way. I just do not. Republicans are doing everything in their power. Like he's trying to set up this Supreme Court reform. They're setting up this 2022 midterm election cycle. And they barely still have control of the House. They have the slimmest majority they've had in the House in, decades for the Dems. And I think it's like, 5 or 6 seats? Something like that. So my thing is 2022 is setting up for Republicans, and that's really be you're a poli-sci major, you're a history buff. Midterm elections usually go against who's ever in the executive branch.
Facts.
And so what that means is it's not going to change. So if y'all not trying to do it now, and that's why I say, let me see who's on this commission. Because if y'all ain't getting everything done between now and next March or next year this time, because then once next year this time comes, people are going to be in some heavy political battles, and they may or may not be able to make those strong moves or out their moves, because now they're vying and jockeying for seats, and they're trying to garner as many votes as they can, so they're not going to be as apt to making all types of crazy votes and decisions. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm.
All right.
I love this politics stuff. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here for it as well. And that's why I asked you to come up, because like I said, I ain't want to, we don't
because we know I'm not no political.
Do I know the percentage that what happens, Jason? Do I know what percentage, boo?
What about the Republicans of the House? I pull a Dracarys and burn everything.
You know what?
Enough with the clever players. Okay.
Well, Jason is typing that the last thing before we get out of here, we definitely have to give a hearty special rest in power to DMX.
Yes.
Who
nigga.
The family announced today. I think he's been brain dead for a couple of days, and they just were
waiting for the family to get
order. Yeah, I think they were just trying to allow family to get in there and get some things in order before they made the announcement. and it's unfortunate. But again, I've read his autobiography, and anybody who's a fan, I encourage you guys to read his autobiography. It came out many years ago. It probably needs an addendum to it at this point, but yes, I think it's called Dark Man X Earl. It's like EARL, but it's an acronym for something. But if you never really fully understood the demons that this man was fighting his whole life, that book will definitely give you some insight into some of that. And so I encourage you guys to go out, if you have not read it, to go read it. If you're interested in just getting a little bit of insight, might put a little money in his family's pockets as well at this point. We know that he left an extensive amount of children. I think he had at least 11 kids, I believe. We know he was engaged when he passed. He had an ex-wife. But the man, no matter what demons he struggled with, the one thing that was evident if you followed him, you know that he definitely had a strong sense of spirituality. He had a love of God. If you listen to any of his albums, he always had a very, very powerful prayer. He has 15 children. Wow. Okay. He always had a very, very powerful prayer on all of his albums that, I mean, listen, you could hear the passion in it. You could absolutely hear the passion in it. And he spoke of his drug addiction even then. And the struggle that he had. He called it the darkness. And in the book, when you read the book, whenever he talks about a relapse, he always says, the darkness got me. The darkness got me. You know, because he talks about how this was something he had been fighting since he was 14 years old. So if you can imagine becoming addicted to crack at 14, he died at 50. So we're talking about, you know, a 35-year struggle. That's a lot. That's hard. So please, you guys, love up on DMX this weekend. I'm sure it's been all over my timeline on every social media platform. I'm sure it will continue to look like that for a few days. But I'm sure there'll be some tributes and things. I know they were running
his music.
Yeah, there've been tributes on the BET YouTube channel. They ran a tribute earlier today where they were just showing his videos and stuff like that. I'm sure BET will probably do something, maybe MTV or do something. So definitely, you guys reach out. I mean, I say reach out like y'all knew him. I mean, go listen to some music and love up on DMX this weekend. That's what I meant to say.
Little baby, not him and Miss Mary could battle it out.
No, DMX for me.
I'm not doing this with Lil Baby.
Lil DMX for me is it take me to so many good places because DMX was really big when I was in college. Like, I mean, my favorite DMX song is "No Love for Me." Oh my god, that song used to come in the club. I can tell you, I used to break it up.
Listen.
Oh my god, I used to break it up.
DMX may or may not have been the soundtrack to my life when I was doing some things that may or may not have been.
Baby, because for DMX, certain rappers, it's the lyrics, yes, but it's the voice.
It's the yes.
And you know they call him, you know,
his delivery.
His voice, the timbre, the intonation of his voice gave you that dog. You know,
that grit, that growl in the back of his esophagus.
You felt that, you know, even if he was lying to you, you felt that he was real because of the passion behind it. Xavier, I'm with you because if he got 15 kids, you know he was laying it down. If he was as passionate in bed as he is about music, do Jesus and do him well. Oh, I had a moment to think about it.
Hallelujah. Get it together. Hallelujah.
I'm sorry. Let him.
I mean, it's to be expected. That's all I got.
Wow. All right. So before we leave, because I know DMX may have been your last topic.
It was.
Have y'all seen any of the Chasing LA Meet the Cast?
I
No.
have not.
Uh-uh.
I have not
I
watched
see
it. You know, I
you've been
do.
doing your reactions, but no. Well,
I
I
don't.
mean, yeah, what?
I
What?
don't do meeting the cast.
No, I
Because
was
I don't
just going to
like.
get your opinion.
And the reason I don't do like to do meeting the cast is because I don't want it to. I don't want to start off thinking one way about them based on their meet the cast, and then because it always happens, and then you see them in the episode and be like, "Who the fuck? That's not who you. Wait, that's not what you presented to me, ma'am, sir, child,
Surname.
child."
That's okay. He could have been 5'7". His persona was larger than life.
Absolutely, absolutely he was, absolutely was. Um, no, I have not watched any of them. Like I said, I see you've been doing your reactions, but I just ain't
Mhm.
had time. I've been trying to get caught up on my videos this week. I just ain't had time for new shit. I've been trying to get caught up on my old shit. Okay. So I'm about to get off here now so I can get to the root of the Paul tonight. Don't forget, you guys, It's Me D is going to be doing a live reaction tonight to RuPaul. I believe he's going to
Live
be doing
now.
tonight. So y'all go check out It's Me D. If you watch RuPaul, you can do a watch along with him over on his channel tonight. And I'm gonna get to RuPaul, and I'm not sure whatever else I'm gonna get out tonight. But RuPaul, I'm going to watch that like
I
literally.
got pills of melatonin waiting for me because I was at, I did that 15-hour shift yesterday, and then I had to be back at the job at like 8 this morning. And
I
y'all see
ain't
what
done
time
that in a long time. I ain't done that.
it is.
My back started hurting when you said that.
I gotta,
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be watching some of my favorite reaction channels react to Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the new episode of Invincible that came out
not
recently.
because no, some of my favorite reviewers of, all of they had it out this morning. And so, and that's what made me go, like, when they had it out early this morning, like 5, 6 a.m., I was like, oh, I got to watch this before I go to work.
Baby.
Anyway,
We're not gonna
I'll
say
be on
nothing because I
tomorrow
know
morning.
Danny in here and she ain't watched it yet, so we don't want to upset her.
I'll be on in the morning for,
What
as
is
you all
my
know.
watch yet?
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, no.
I'll be on for Silly Saturday.
Okay, cool. You say yet, like I plan to watch it.
I said Danny, not
Oh, my
you.
bad. I thought you said me. I'm about to say. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Y'all go and check out that Avon. Get you some good stuff. They got some things over there. Don't forget, if you're going to shop at Avon, go ahead and download Rakuten so you can get you that 4% cash back on your order. Okay. Go only listen. Listen. We can both win. We can both win. You can get 4% cash back. I can get an order. Everybody can walk away happy from this. We can all be happy. All right.
I love it when everybody walks away happy.
I love happy endings.
That you knew where I was going, Abby. You knew where I was going. You know me so well, sis. You know me.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.